Hello, classmates. As we wrap up 8 weeks of intense study on strategic business communications, we've each been asked to select one of the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader by John C. Maxwell. I have selected servanthood, and I believe I can make a good case for it being one of, if not the most important quality in a true leader. Let me begin by telling you a tale of two supervisors. These are real people working at my current place of employment. The first has over 30 years of service. He's very intelligent, and he's always wanted to be a leader. When he was elevated to that position, he became an authoritarian leader. He told people what to do, and he expected their obedience. He lorded it over them, and the people did not want to work for him. In fact, during his tenure, they often found ways to avoid him and to avoid doing their work. He left recently, and he hasn't been missed. He left without fanfare, and overall, the impact on the company has been negative. The second supervisor has only 10 years of service, or slightly over 10. He sees himself as a member of the team. He looks for opportunities to help others achieve their goals. And recent events have shown that he is well liked and that the people on his team want him to be their supervisor. He is still serving, and we hope he will continue for a while. So let me ask you, do you want to be a leader, or do others want you to lead? If you'll allow me this small deviation, from this point forward, I'm going to use the term servant leadership instead of servanthood. It's a term coined by Robert Greenleaf in a 1970 essay called The Servant as a Leader, and I believe it embodies the same qualities that John Maxwell had in mind for servanthood. In his essay, Robert Greenleaf defined servant leadership in this way. The servant leader is a servant first. It begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve first, and then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who is a leader first. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. And there it is, concern for others, the essence of servant leadership. I can think of two good illustrations of servant leadership. The first you're likely all familiar with, as it was in the book, 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader by John Maxwell. In that book, under the heading of servanthood, he tells the story of Norman Schwarzkopf, who, while serving as a colonel in the U.S. military, faced a situation where he literally had to walk through a minefield to save the life of a young man. He was a colonel at the time. He could have easily ordered someone else to do it, or simply left the situation and written that young man off. But that young man was his responsibility, and Norman Schwarzkopf chose to walk through that minefield one step at a time to save that young man's life. In a bit less dramatic fashion, but still just as important, Robert Greenleaf was born in 1904, and after growing up and attending college, he joined AT&T in 1926 and quickly rose through their ranks of management. While serving them, he started their first management training program. While he was in college, he had been exposed to the idea that the organization exists for the person as much as the person exists for the organization. That was not a popular thought at the time, but it was one that Robert Greenleaf believed in. He had a 38-year career at AT&T, and during that time, he became the Director of Management Development. He was the originator of the first corporate assessment center, and he was one of the first people to promote females and minorities to non-menial positions. He developed programs to help determine up-and-coming leaders and to expose them to the broader concepts of leadership. He looked out for others. He was a true servant leader. He wanted to see others achieve their goals and not just his own. So why should you want to be a servant leader, like Schwarzkopf or like Greenleaf? When in his teaching, Greenleaf espouses the idea that if our goal is to lead others, it is eminently preferable that they should choose to follow, rather than we spend our efforts soliciting their cooperation. Simply put, if you want to lead a team, it's better that they're not questioning you at every step. If you've taken the time to establish trust with them, and they know that you're concerned for them and their goals and their well-being, they're going to follow you more readily than if you have not. And you're going to have a more positive impact on your organization. So you've decided you want to be a servant leader, or you're wondering if you already are. How can you tell? Well, in his book, John Maxwell outlines 5 qualities of a true servant leader, and I believe these qualities can also be used as a check, a way to evaluate ourselves on where we are in our management position and what we need to still improve upon. Of those 5 qualities, the first is very simply, put others first. And this means more than putting your agenda on hold. It means intentionally being aware of your people's needs and their goals, helping them to achieve those goals, and sharing your concern with them and for them on a regular, consistent basis. The second quality is to possess the confidence to serve. If you're not secure in your own abilities, you will not be able to lead in this area. If you're not, you need to find opportunities of education or experience that can help you grow in your own confidence. And once you have that, you will be able to lead others. You have to be secure in your own abilities. Otherwise, failure is waiting for you around every corner. The third quality John Maxwell outlines is you initiate service to others. You don't serve for appearances, nor out of compulsion. Great leaders see a need, seize the opportunity, and serve without expecting anything in return. You're looking for opportunities everywhere to be able to serve someone else and help them to achieve their goals, to show your concern for them. The fourth quality is you aren't position conscious. You're not looking to be superior to others. You're not looking to elevate yourself over them. You have to remember that the higher you move in rank, the more responsibility that rests on your shoulders. And like Colonel Schwarzkopf, you may find yourself walking through a minefield to help someone that you're responsible for. The last quality is that you serve out of love, or you may choose to use the term concern. True servanthood is not motivated by self-promotion. The extent of your influence depends on the depth of your concern for others. People will know if you're faking it, so it's not about you, it's about them. In his book, Improving Your Serve, Charles Swindoll prescribes this for someone wanting to become a true servant leader. Volunteer to serve somewhere in your community, to help others who are less fortunate, without expectations of reward. Do it for 3 to 6 months, and then evaluate. See how you stand. The simple truth, the lesson you're trying to learn, it's not about you. So let me conclude by reminding you that there are basically 2 types of leaders in the world. There are those who lead out of a desire for power and authority, or a belief in their own superiority, and they will always be despised if their true intentions are known. And then there are those who truly aspire to leadership out of a desire to serve others, and they will always be respected and followed. Which will you be? Robert Greenleaf had a lasting impact on fields as diverse as management, leadership, religion, and many other disciplines. But he did not describe himself as a philosopher, as an academic, as a theologian, or a writer. In his own words, he was just a businessman and a seeker. He died in 1990, but he left an epitaph that shows his wit and his wisdom and proves that he had learned the lesson that it was not about him. On his gravestone, it says simply, potentially a good plumber, ruined by a sophisticated education. Let me finish the story I began with about a tale of 2 supervisors. You see, I am the second supervisor, and I can say without hesitation that it is better to be a servant leader than one who forces their authority. I will always appreciate the affirmation of those who work for me, and it allows us to enjoy working together on a daily basis. After all, most of us work to live. We do not live to work. There is enough stress in this life without having to battle your way through every workday. Choose to be a servant leader. It makes all the difference in the world.